Let's call this special meeting of the Board of Directors of the Joshua Basin Water District to order.
Regular meeting?
Regular meeting.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was artifact. Regular meeting, and the time is 5 p.m. on Wednesday, July 15th, 2026. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. General Manager Johnson, hello, and please conduct the roll call and vote the form.
President Doolittle.
Here.
Director Flowing.
Present.
Director Fick.
Here.
Director Drosberg.
Here.
VP Short.
Here.
Board members, are there any changes requested to tonight's agenda? Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The agenda is approved as is. First up is the designated time for public comment. So if we have any visitor here, you may comment on any district-related matter, whether appearing on the agenda or not. We welcome public comment. You will also be able to comment throughout the meeting if you'd like on specific topics. Please understand that due to the Brown Act, the board is prohibited from taking action on items not listed on the agenda. Please state your name and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Come on, you stand up here. Andy, please, yeah.
Your name, my name's Wade Andrew Williams. I live up Friendly Hills. And I lived here 6 years. I got here before the pandemic. I love it here. It's peace and quiet for me. However, I have personal experience with hexavalent chromium being contaminated public drinking water. I did a job in Hinckley, California. I was there for, I don't know, a couple of months on and off. And I got to meet all the people there that lived there. You know, I went to the pool and the suds and there's a place called Rosie's and all the restaurants. I got to know them all. They're like us here, like the locals, right? They miners and they grow orchards and stuff, and they use the water. And as we all know, it was all contaminated by the PSENG. But and I had been having trouble drinking the water here, to be honest with you. So I had to stop a few years ago because I don't feel good. So I have to buy it anyway. And I've run into a few people at the little Primo dispensers where you buy your water. It's $3 for 5 gallons. And I'm not the only one. And I heard on the news about maybe there was some hexavalent chromium in our water, and I haven't had experience with that. And to be honest with you, it was devastating listening to the stories of those people just drinking their water. So I looked it up, and I went to your website, and I got this, and I'm going to get quicker now. So you got what I got. This is hexavalent chromium, not trivalent. This is a hexavalent chromium. The national standard for chromium, that's both hexavalent and trivalent, is 100.00 per
Billion.
per billion, right? So, and they want to get it down to a 0.02. So I did some research and I looked up what's a good comparison for what we're doing here with 23.05, I believe it is. Yes, 23.05 in 2025. And there's a study here. Can I submit this for just you to look at? Yeah. Study here, and you can read the title. It's about the hexavalent chromium. They're looking for background hexavalent chromium around the plume in Hinckley, California, so they can figure out where the contamination stopped and where the background hexavalent chromium began, so they could figure out, the lowest amount in that circle around the plume, which was really badly contaminated by that thing, was 2.8, right? That's the background chromium. The highest near the plant was 4.8. And we've got 23.05. That's 6 times as much. Now, they're trying to lower it down, and I've heard you talk to Senator Schiff about it, to 10 I can't say it, PPBs. But the problem I'm having is that everybody got sick there. That's why they made that line, to figure out how to settle the lawsuits. So I really do think, and also too, here's another thing about just what it does to you. They're not sure how much is good for you. Well, they know it's all bad for you. And even the people that only got 4 point, whatever it is, 8%, those numbers, they're all in there here. And this is a table that they did with the State Water Resources Board that shows how many places it test for chromium and how many tested over 20 out of 7,780 sources. And that's only 45. We're one of them. Here's that graph. So, seeing as how, that's all there. It's all the stuff you get from USGS and stuff. I think it's dangerous to drink the water here, or to be honest with you, to even bathe in it. It makes me sick. I hope it's not the hexavalent chromium. It's probably something else. But I just wanted you to be aware of these numbers, and that at 0.02% hexavalent chromium in drinking water, you get 1 death per million people. That's the math I want you to do. How many do you get if you got 23.08%? How many deaths per million? That's the question. You know, morality and money that's justice, right? It even says in the first of the report, I don't think anybody should be drinking this water. Thank you very much.
I don't believe I see any comments online or anybody else in the room, so I want to thank you to our resident who came to talk to us today. Moving on to the consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are expected to be routine and non-controversial, to be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. I understand already a board member would like an item to be handled separately, and it will be removed from the consent calendar for separate actions. The items on the consent calendar today include A, draft minutes, B, the 2026 of May check register, C, the appropriation limit, D, the third quarter financial report, E, the operations report, and F, adopting revised resolutions for standby and CMM. Any requests from the board?
Yes.
Director Charles.
First of all, I'd like to pull, actually, well, I guess I have to pull the whole thing, the check register for May 2026, but I'm actually just looking at page 17, which coincides with our recent discussion or presentation.
All right, so let me just ask, so you want to pull item 5B. What else would you like to pull, did you say?
Well, I would have an overall question and a couple of questions beneath that top question. I'm wondering why the third quarter financial report and operations report are on the consent calendar. It seemed like there was more decisions to be made. So I just wondered why they were there. And page 40 and page 50, I had questions on.
Okay, so, but are those all just the third quarter financial report?
No, it's page 40 is on the third quarter financial report and 50 is on the operations report.
All right, okay, so item 5D and item 5E have been pulled for separate consideration. Is there a motion to approve consent calendar items 5A, 5B, 5C, and 5F?
Actually, B, I asked that.
Oh, sorry.
ACF.
AC?
A, C, and F.
AC, so the draft minutes is A. Okay, the check register, a B, okay,
C.
A, C, and F would be the consent calendar.
oh, that's right. Okay, sorry. I got confused there. I thought you're, right, and so what we're pulling is B, or D and E.
Correct.
So, Is there a motion to approve consent calendar items A, C, and F?
I'll make the motion.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Director Jarlsberg has requested that items B and item 6B, 6D, and 6E be pulled. So Director Jarlsberg, please proceed.
Start with one to the.
Right, so please, yes,
B.
start with items
Page 17.
B17.
Yeah, actually, this might be good information for our speaker. The question I have is, the last item on page 17, Lane Christensen Company, which apparently is profiling well 15's chromium 6. And it is $52,000, which I wondered how much, I mean, what's being done with that money?
So I can speak to that.
Yeah,
If you remember, well 15 was pulled offline for a rehab. Subsequent to the rehab, we did what's called profiling, and to make it simple, essentially they look at the water and the characteristics at different depths of the well to see if there's a different depth that they could pull water from that has less chromium. So what they did find is that it is true, the deeper you go, the less chromium, but then you end up with other constituents in the water. So you're now having a competing issue. So it's been decided that we need to treat the well just like we're treating the rest of the wells. So profiling was a good option to look, and we understand the chemistry of the well better. That said, it still needs to be treated with our treatment program for chromium 6.
but I guess my question was, what are we getting for $52,000?
Well, they have to pull the well apart. It takes a lot of time, takes cameras, it takes people, it takes different sampling methods. So that's the cost of profiling.
Okay.
So that was brought to the board for approval before we did the work.
I'm sure that it was, but I didn't remember it. When I saw the number, it was like a little bit of a
It's
shock.
about $60,000.
Because that's only part of the job, right? For,
Just for the profiling, yeah,
Yeah.
about 60,000, but it was not money wasted, it was money well spent. We understand the chemistry of the well better. And now we know, that we didn't potentially lose out on, never knowing if we should pull them about well.
okay. And it's more information leading to our pilot program eventually on that.
So we are in our Chrome 6 pilot program right now. I'll bring more information. I have it tonight in the manager's report, a little bit of an update. But that said, we've begun that on different wells and all that coming up.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, that's it on
All right. All right. Director Jarlsberg, please go ahead with.
Motion to approve.
Okay, oh, yeah. Is there a motion to approve item 6A, 6B?
Can I move?
5B. Well, it's actually in the 6 now, but then it got moved. 6B.
Finally. Is there a motion to approve item 6B, May 2026 check register?
I'll second that then.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Director Jarlsberg, you requested that item 6D be discussed, third quarter financial report. Please continue.
Well, the overreaching question is why they were on the consent calendar. It seemed like they were unfinished. In my cursory review, it seemed like they were kind of unfinished in the board meeting.
I'm not sure what you mean by unfinished, but there was a decision to be made. We talked about it a little earlier this year to put the quarterly reports on the consent calendar, except for the last one. The fourth quarter, then that one will come to the full board for review.
Okay.
It's because the quarterlies are not full, they're not complete. I don't know if you want to explain that a little bit more, but the fourth quarter is going to be your complete view.
So, yeah, we were reporting
Ah.
each quarter to the board, and it was just a report, so there was really nothing that was unfinished, but the year was incomplete.
Okay.
So, yes, what we're planning to do now is have all of the quarterly financials on the consent calendar, with the exception of the final quarter, which will be the June 30th. year-end, fiscal year-end quarter. And that will come to the board as well as the audited financial statements. So once we have those available.
I think what I'm really asking is just for a review because I don't remember everything, unfortunately. And I'm not always sure where to go back and try to find stuff in agendas either to remind me. So I appreciate, and also anybody watching our meetings, I think it helps to refresh things occasionally. That might be a question.
So just to speed this along, Director Jolsberg, are you asking that we review it today and go through it today?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, I just needed a reminder.
Oh, okay.
That we did. But I had one question from each of these pages. Page
Jennifer
40.
Mr. Johnson had something to
I
say.
could offer that this is a new process and we're still exploring how it works best. And maybe next fiscal year, this fiscal year now,
Yeah.
we could do the second and the fourth
Yeah.
as action item
Mm.
discussion. That way it stays fresh and then two are in consent. So that's just.
That's a great
an option
idea.
That we can talk about.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Great. So on page 40. Page of cash flow. For the third quarter. Let me see let's see. Oh, there is a certain amount here for well 15 rehab, and the amount is 147,483, $147,483. And I wondered if that was the amount I asked about, the 51K, is included in that number.
They're separate projects.
So
So the
okay,
rehab was a separate project, but because we were doing the rehab, it was a perfect opportunity to do the profiling. Because you have to take it apart. to do it.
okay, great. Then that wasn't, I was curious about that. And then do you have to do the separate approval? Is that kind of lump
Yes.
them together? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So it's D. Former D.
Seeing no further discussion, is there a motion to approve item 6D, the third quarter financial report?
Okay, Just don't make it too loud.
Mic check.
Mic check. You could hear it.
The red light went on.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right, returning to our meeting, Director Jarlsberg was speaking about page 50. And just to repeat it, she was looking at the numbers for the fiscal year consumption, the two right columns in the middle of the page. Director Jarlsberg?
Yeah, that's the top 10 consumers is a regular chart that our fiscal department puts out for us. It's always interesting. But I noted the fact that the top 10, which can change, they're not always the same. There are some that are the same, but the total group isn't the same. So I can understand numbers varying, but the fact that the year before last fiscal year was less consumption from most of the large consumers, including the hospital, Coil Springs Village Apartments, in the Memorial Park, large consumers, doesn't seem to be going down, and that's the direction we're supposed to be going. And with that much difference from 47 to 55, that's a big jump. So it also includes the large leaks, so it probably depends on, what's leaking in those years too. But I just want to remind people, we're supposed to be cutting back.
I believe
If I could.
Director Roman.
Yes.
So I think that table is helpful for looking at each individual that is in that top 10 ranking across those fiscal years. But overall, I would look at the top left box, which shows you the overall consumption change from 3/31/2024, 2025, and 2026. So you can see there what is happening from 2024 to 2025. There was a 8.59% increase in consumption, and then it came down by 0.14% for 2026. So I think that's more helpful when you're looking overall than this number in the middle table, because those, you see the gray boxes in that middle table, those individuals were not there for comparison. So I think it's helpful to use that top left box for that purpose.
But I also think, not to be contrary, I also think it's important to watch our large consumers too.
Yeah. I think it's helpful individual, on an individual line to look at that trend there.
Maybe they need some reminders what we're supposed to be doing. I don't know if there's any way for them to, encourage people not to consume as much, like in the apartments.
Yeah, so this one always kind of bothers me because we did a comparison on the apartments, and the apartment users are on average with regular users. So it's
Right.
lumped into one,
Right.
but it's a lot of people living there. So really, it looks like a large user, but if you divide it out by the number of people, it really
Right.
isn't.
Right. Okay, thank you. I think it helps to discuss it at least, remind us what we're supposed to be up to in these years too.
Is there anything, Director Pick?
As of 10 years ago, we were at 1,500 acre feet. So we're down, 35,
Roughly 1,300 now. Yeah, give or take a few.
All right, just to maintain a clean record, I would just like to go ahead and have a motion to approve item 6D, the third quarter financial report.
Did we already do that?
Well, we did, but
We
didn't
opened it back
include-
up. We've opened it back up. So is there a motion to approve that?
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Now, moving on, did you still want to look at the operations report, Director Jarlsberg?
No.
Item
it's just
60.
a general question. They got answered.
Oh, all right, so, but
Approve that.
yeah, we're gonna have to approve it, but I just wanted to just ask about the service line water loss, which is on page 52. Since it's been pulled, I was interested as well. And I understand that there was having to work with the software to produce this content, but I was just interested at the high number for the service line water loss compared to the main line water loss just a few years ago. Yeah, you can see it's quite a lot of water. And I just wanted to see what General Manager Johnson, in her capacities, acting operations director, what she wants to share with that about that.
Well, one thing that is not on this report, we hope to have on the next report, you'll see that this will morph in time, is a service line replacement. So we've really upped that program, and we've been replacing service lines many per week. So you'll see that number, and I'm hoping that you'll see a correlation of service line leaks lowering as more service lines are replaced. But it has prompted us to be really proactive with that.
And how much is 3 million gallons in acre feet? I didn't do the math on that. I think it's pretty small. It's like less than, is it around 10? I mean,
325,000 gallons in that per foot and change.
yeah. So
So 3 per million, roughly.
what roughly?
3 acre feet per million gallons.
Okay.
Roughly.
Okay. So 3. And again, we use 1,300, just kind of balancing that out as far as the losses go. And these numbers have really improved, especially this mainline water loss from when we started a few years ago. All right, that's all from me on that. Okay. Seeing no further discussion, is there a motion to approve item 6E, operations report?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, moving on to our action calendar part of the agenda. Item 7A is the quarterly legislative report from Rojas Public Affairs, which can be found on page 62 of the agenda, and then supporting materials. No action is needed from the board, as this item is a report of advocacy activities by a consulting group. General Manager Johnson will now introduce Rojas.
It will, if you recall, the board hired us in late last year. They've been helping us with our legislative advocacy and primary focus on Chromium 6 tonight. Because we were done in the last quarter, and Jasmine, we comes to the return, and she has a presentation that is so fun to start.
Good evening, President Doolittle and members of the board. Thank you for the opportunity to present the fourth quarter legislative advocacy update. Beginning last quarter, we did transition to reporting on a fiscal year. It just better aligns with the state budget cycles that drive most of our advocacy work. So tonight we'll provide an overview of our advocacy activities from April to June, share important federal and state legislative updates, and discuss what's ahead as we continue our advocacy. Actually, you kind of,
Not the right one?
no.
Is the page before it?
Could be, I don't know what page that is.
Another packet.
Yeah, right there. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Before diving into the details, I did want to highlight some accomplishments we have had since we partnered up. The biggest milestone thus far is the Chromium 6 treatment project advancing through the House Appropriation Committee after being selected by Congressman Overnolte. Since the start of our partnerships, we've had 9 legislative meetings on both the state and federal level. We've had 2 legislative days, one in DC and the other in Sacramento. And then the district hosted Senator Schiff and his staff as well. Overall, this quarter focused mainly on momentum and positioning the district for the next phase, both on the federal appropriation process and future grants. Next. So, this quarter, marked an important shift into the federal appropriation process. During the third quarter, our focus was preparing and submitting for the community project funding and the congressional direct funding spending, which is on the House and the Senate. Now our work had transitioned to supporting the requests that, for Congress to review them. For Joshua Basin, the result is the important milestone, which is the Chromium 6 project advanced through the House Appropriation Committee for $1 million. While that is very significant, we're still, the funds are not still secured yet. The House and the Senate must still complete negotiations, pass final appropriation package, and then it goes to the president to sign and to make it official. So that is towards the end of the year. Our role now is to continue working with congressional offices, respond to any requests for information, and keep the project competitive throughout the remainder of the process. Next. On the state level, the legislative completed the work for the FY 2026 and 27 budget during this quarter. Governor Newsom released the May revise in May, and the legislative adopted the new state budget by the June 15th, which is the constitutional deadline. As a result, our focus has shifted towards monitoring agencies and their implementations. For future grant opportunities as state agencies release program guidelines. Now, for Joshua Basin, during this time, we did submit the member request this last quarter for legislative offices and also directly to the budget committee. Next. So then we'll go through each month. April was a very proactive month. For the federal side, we supported the Chromium 6 treatment project by preparing possible appropriation testimonies that strengthened the project's messaging. We also, once we found out that the district was selected, we informed the district that Congressional Gurnalty selected the project. On the state side, we submitted support letters for Senator Ochoa Bowles' SB 1062 and SB 1063, and attended Department of Water Resources Proposition 4 workshop to stay informed about upcoming funding. Next. May was highlighted by continued federal engagement. We supported the district for the Senator Adam Schiff's visit to showcase the Chromium 6 treatment project and discuss district infrastructure priorities firsthand. We also updated the district after the project advanced through the House appropriation, continue coordinating with the Congressional Office of Congressman Gurnalty about the appropriation process as it moves forward. On the state side, we reviewed the governor's May revise, provided an analysis of what is meant for local agencies like yourselves for future funding opportunities. Next. Now, June, we focus on preparing on what's to come. We research additional federal funding opportunities through the EPA and USDA that could potentially support Chromium 6 compliance and drinking water infrastructure. We also monitored another grant that launched on the state's Extreme Heat and Community Resilience Program to determine whether any future opportunities may align with the district's priorities. For this next quarter, our federal priority is continuing to support the Chromium 6 project as Congress works through the remainder of the appropriation process. As of today, the Senate still has not released their selection, their appropriations. Once they do, then it goes to the next phase where the House and Senate negotiate for the final appropriation package. Once they do negotiate that, that's where it goes to the president. Throughout this whole process, our team will update the district. We'll also reach out to Senator Padilla to see if he would also like to visit the district, either himself or one of his staff members. Next. On the state level, we'll continue monitoring Proposition 4 implementation, new grant opportunities, legislation that can affect the district. It's the same on the federal. We will reach out to Senator Joel Boa's office and Assemblymember Wallace to see if they'd like to visit the district as well, either themselves or their staff members sometime in the fall or winter. And we will also schedule at this time our annual advocacy preparation meeting. It's hard to believe we're already going to start preparing for next year, but it's always definitely about 4 months ahead that we can have a clear direction where we're going to be going the following year. Overall, this quarter represented an important transition from submitting funding requests to advancing and supporting through the process. While we're still several steps from making everything official, we've made a meaningful progress in strengthening the district's position. Thank you again for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Directors, any questions for one of us? Director Jarlsworth.
I do, I'm just trying to figure out where it was,
I see an arrow. You have an arrow on that page.
yeah, I know.
I have a question in the
Yeah, go
meantime.
ahead.
Okay. So regarding the Extreme Heat and Community Resilience Program, I'm actually glad that your our guest in the room is actually seeing how much we're discussing Chromium and how top of mind that is for us. It is certainly the center of our world. But you mentioned this Extreme Heat and Community Resilience Program, and I see in your letter that you strongly encourage the district to consider submitting a pre-application interest form during window 1. Did we determine if there was a potential project that aligns with that program?
No, I did speak to Sarah, and they actually, so a couple of eligible concepts right now. It's like a cooling and shading infrastructure, resilient public facilities, heat resilient infrastructure. Although that could possibly be something in the future, right now it's not a priority for the district. So it's something that we can probably speak of when we meet in September, but not necessarily what's on the projects we're working on.
Thank you, Director Jones.
Yeah, a couple, mentioned here that we have, that, Representative Obernolte actually, I think was, we were happy he was able to come up with some money. It apparently was reduced before it was sent to appropriations. But because we have such a kind of unpredictable president of the United States in office right now, he could choose to not sign this. How are we, how are we trying to keep it on board, for instance?
So the first year that it wasn't signed, it's not very common that it doesn't get signed. It does get pushed back. Like funds that last year are still rolling out for this year, only because the budget as a whole gets pushed back. Not necessarily the appropriation portion. As we saw this past year, there was security I can't remember the exact one, but there was one specific line that was really causing, but he ended up deciding to go ahead and sign everything over. So if not, I don't want to say it never happens, because it happens, doesn't happen as often. We don't foresee it happening. The only would be them negotiating, because the Senate can still select also the project. You can maybe negotiate for it to be more. Senator Schiff mentioned it was elected on his end. Now we're waiting for the appropriation. So Obernolte actually passed it for the amount we asked. It's when it came out of the committee.
No, I understand that part. Do you think Obernolte, I always trouble his name. would be willing to serve as our advocate at that point, if there's some question whether it's gonna be able to happen or not?
When to get to the president?
Yeah,
I believe everybody would be advocating for it to pass because all the, Congress members and senators have a budget, a project that is in that appropriation. So it affects a lot of districts that are really counting for that. We were definitely unfortunate to experience when the year that it didn't pass, we had several kinds that didn't get funding a couple of years ago when it did happen. But a lot of Congress members honored those projects and selected them for the following year.
oh, okay, so they served as an advocate then on behalf of their constituency.
Yes.
Um,
And we
Yeah.
might want to state too that we have support on both sides.
Yes.
yeah,
Because, we had, the senator here.
that's true. Yeah, that's great, obviously. And I guess the other note that I just wondered if we could chat about briefly is the at the state, it says summer of 2026. We're in the middle of the summer right now.
Mm.
I've been trying to encourage people. We're halfway through the summer already, guys. Don't, yes, it's hot, but we'll get through it. That state agencies begin releasing grant guidelines and funding opportunities authorized in the enacted budget. Is that something that you do or your agency does, or
So
how does it help us?
those agencies are what we're referring to top four.
Oh,
Yeah, so the agencies right now that released so far is the Department of Water Resources, the Governor Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation, and the California Department of Parks and Recreation. Now, the best one that's best fit for Joshua Basin is for the DWR, but they still are in the works of what exactly would that grant look like. They've had multiple workshops and community outreach. And so we're still in the process of that and have been updating staff as it's going forward. They're looking at possibly opening up the application process in January. But because there's a lot of red tape around Prop 4 and what's required for the application process, that's taking a long time to write it out, the guidelines. That's what's really causing a lot of the time to be pushed back.
okay. My sieve of a brain just had an idea that a meeting was. I don't know if I'll come back to that or not at some point, but I do want to appreciate, the work you're doing and how thorough you are. But I would like to make this little recommendation is that you put numbers on these pages.
Okay, you can definitely.
Because I couldn't find, I had to go through everything to find what you're talking about.
Oh, okay, absolutely.
That would be lovely.
We'll add that. And to just really end it, your board is amazing and your staff is really, really involved with everything that goes to put this as successful as it is. And it makes a big difference to see the passion and the want to get this over. So we really appreciate it. It makes our job a little easier when you are also just as involved.
And we have a high engagement is what you're saying. And that, we're not just saying, here you go do it.
Right.
Right. So that's
exactly.
good. That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah. We appreciate the staff
And
leadership.
the support that we did for Senator Chobo is something that we always want to encourage. That way it is a two-way street. So that she sees we're supporting.
The letters
Yes.
that we wrote. Mhm.
And that way when we go ask for support, it's also there.
Mhm. Thanks for explaining that.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you so much. And we wouldn't be in the situation we're in now without your guys' support. We didn't know which doors to knock on, and you guys brought us to the right doors, and we hopefully will have $1 million in the bank when the end of next year.
And again, it's like, we have so many suggestions and your team just not just listens, but actually acts on them. And that makes the biggest difference. Sarah, will tell you. Experience.
I'll say the beginning there were the cuts, all of the submittals. That was, it's, they open up the portals and you have it seems like minutes just to
Yeah.
get everything submitted, and it takes a lot of effort to get that done. Thank you so much. I appreciate you just driving.
Thank you
out
so
here
much.
to visit us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
safe travels.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Since there are no further questions or comments, the board will receive and file the quarterly legislative advocacy report. Next is item 7B, which regards an extra help agreement with Ray Colas by resolution. General Manager Johnson, please provide us some background for this resolution.
Absolutely. Most of us are familiar with Sir Ray Polish. He has been part of our district now for a little over a year and a half, and as an interim director of operations. He is retired annuitant and a retired general manager from 29 Falls Water District. When you're retired from a CalPERS system, to be hired back into a CalPERS system, you have to go through a lot of hoops to make sure that you comply with all the retired annuitant rules and laws. And CalPERS sometimes even doesn't understand them themselves. So we had Ray in his contract previously that began in December of 2024. It came to a conclusion, and now we're asking to bring him back in a different capacity to help us with these capital projects, primarily listed as Chromium 6. He has intimate knowledge of our district, the interworkings of it. This will be very different than his role as director of operations. He will not be overseeing operations, but he'll help support us as a project manager for many of our capital projects, Chromium 6 included, development process, and others that you can see in the attachment to the contract inside your packet. It took a lot of negotiation with CalPERS to get this contract here. I was hoping to have this to you a month ago, but back and forth with CalPERS took quite some time, but we finally did get their blessing, and I'll get their full blessing once this is signed by the board. And we can bring him back to continue this very important work. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Directors, any questions? Director Jarlsberg?
Just one quick one. Would he be involved in interviewing possible recruits?
Oftentimes, because this is a high-level position, I include, our department heads, and he's working as a extra help to a department head, so he would be included
Okay, good.
depending on his scheduling. Remember, retired annuitants are limited in their hours. He doesn't live in the state, so we're working with him in that regard as well. So if time allows, the answer is yes, and if not, then we just move forward.
Yeah, I understand that. I just was hoping you were going to say
Yes.
partly yes.
Yeah, we definitely like this input.
Okay, good. That's it for me.
Director Fick?
Yes, is he available when he's in Cedar City, Utah?
Yeah, he can work remotely.
Okay.
But again, against the time clock. So about 80 hours a month is what this will end up being. So a lot of hours.
Mm.
You have to use them wisely.
Director Blowen? Did you have something?
Just a question. So what I'm hoping is going to happen, I might have seen it, but I can't remember, that once we hire a new director of operations, that Ray will remain for a period of time to sort of get the new guy up to speed and show him where the bathroom is and stuff like that.
That's a good point, and you did see that in here, that he'll help provide training and mentorship to staff. Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. But he will not be, CalPERS is very explicit and clear. He cannot be serving as director of operations. So he won't be doing that, but he will be providing mentorship and training. And you may also notice that there is an end date. It's a approximately 2-year contract.
So that means we have to hire a director of operations within that 2 years' time.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. President Doolittle, I just wanted to say I'm highly in favor of this. Ray has been a hero of the district and worth every penny. I can only speak for myself, but I imagine the board agrees that Ray's assistance has been important support for the district, and in particular, our general manager. And we want whatever support from him we can get to continue. Just pass along that we were talking about his greatness at the farmer's market on Saturday. If his ears were burning, that is why. And I just want to share with any of the public that are viewing this or looking over some of the agenda stuff at the same time, that you'll see some language regarding this contract tied to adjusted future COLA or salary scheduled adjustments. And I had to look that up because I'd never seen that with a contract before. And that is related to the fact and indicative that this is a retired employee working under a limited term agreement. This is common language in these sorts of situations.
And it's also, it is a savings, even this way to the district, because there's no CalPERS contribution This are two helpers. There's no benefits. So it is just straight salary.
Right, is there a motion to adopt resolution number 26-1091, approving the retired annuitant? Yeah, I got it on the first try. Extra Help Employment Agreement and authorize our GM to execute and manage the agreement.
Make the motion?
Second. Roll call vote, please.
Director Lowe.
Yes.
Director Flowing.
Yes.
Director Beck.
Yes.
Director Jarlsberg.
Yes.
VP Short.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let the record reflect that resolution number 26-1091 has been adopted. Item 7C on tonight's agenda concerns acceptance of a Mojave Water Agency Strategic Partners Program Award for an emergency water storage protection. For those that don't know, the Mojave Water Agency is the district's regional wholesale water partner. Director of Administration David Shook, please tell us more.
Thank you, President Dula. Good evening, board members, staff. MWA continues to be a valuable partner to Joshua Basin Water District. Through our longstanding partnerships, the district has received more than $4.8 million in grant funding for projects, including our recharge ponds and demonstration garden. Staff successfully secured a $7,500 strategic partners grant from MWA to help fund an emergency storage container. This container will be used to store emergency supplies and water, and may also serve as an emergency operations center for emergencies or disasters. The total project budget is $15,000, with the district funding the remaining costs for items such as insulation, climate control, power, and any necessary permitting. If approved, staff will complete this project during the current fiscal year in accordance with NWA's grant requirements. And once again, we recommend accepting the $7,500 grant from NWA.
Directors, any comments or questions? Will someone from, oh yeah, Director Fick.
I just have one comment, and it's, I get accused of being a historian, but our president of MWA was a treasurer of MBCA 10 years ago, for 3 or 4 years, if I remember, just so people know. Thank you.
Will someone from the board make a motion to approve and accept the $7,500 MWA Strategic Partners Grant Award?
I'll make the motion. Second.
Roll call vote, please.
President Dula.
Yes.
Director Flowing.
Yes.
Director Beck.
Yes.
Director Jarlsberg.
Yes.
VP Short.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 8, committee reports. Moving on to committee reports. Next, let's hear a report from the Board Retreat Ad Hoc Committee. This committee recommends the board vote to proceed with a contract for a professionally facilitated board governance and leadership alignment retreat, subject to successful vendor vetting and final review by legal counsel. Director Jarlsberg, Chair of the committee, and Vice President Short, please proceed.
Okay. Hopefully, we've had a chance to read the report. Basically, some time ago, and I would like to say years ago, I had the idea that I would like to see a board retreat. And obviously, that would be something that would be maybe more of a priority early in the course of after being elected. When there are new board members together, coming on together. And ideally, I think it would be something that we might have done 5 years ago, 4 years ago, when there were a couple of several brand new people here. And so we would learn more about each other as resources on the board, ideally. But obviously, we're not in that position. And I think we're very much in a position right now to kind of evaluate how we're doing in a more formal sense and not at a board meeting. It's the fact of being holding a retreat with offsite with a professional facilitator and an agenda that hasn't really been worked out yet, but will be. It's time, I think, to do this for a variety of reasons. I think we're a good board and have done good things in the past and have quite a bit of future potential. And I'd like to, because we may have access to this professional organization that it knows what they're doing and would help us design the agenda, I think it is a good thing to do it right now. We did want to do it because it would cost some money. Did want to do it in the current budget year. So we're looking forward to something in the fall. Obviously, summer isn't the best time to get together like this, but there was I'm trying to find it. Here, Partners in Public Innovation is a company that has been doing this for quite a while, seems very well experienced. And we're kind of calling this not just a retreat, although that's kind of the format that I was looking for, called the Board General Manager Partnership and Leadership Effectiveness event supporting the board and the general manager. We're not recommending a date yet. We really need to find out if the board wants to go along with what is a chunk of money to help us facilitate this event. So that's part of what wanted to talk about today. And the ad hoc committee will continue to be in force for a while longer while we decide what the full agenda is, and as a result of our decision today. And also consulting with the Partners in Public Innovation. So I also want to say that just this company, I'm not really sure what to call it, this business has been recommended by our legal consultants. And the other ad hoc committee member has any comments?
No, I just basically we're looking forward to get a budget for this and just get the ball rolling, fill in the rest as we go.
And anybody have questions?
Oh, yeah, let me ask, so any members of the board, anybody else, any director?
My initial question is, David Fick here. Have we had a retreat for the board before? Ever? Do we know?
Yes, we did a couple of years ago. It was in here though. It wasn't like a retreat.
Okay.
Or leaving. It was in-house.
The term offsite, does that mean it's got to be outside of Joshua Tree?
Oh, no.
So this one, I think the original idea when I met with the ad hoc committee, if I may, was to consider offsite. But then the idea worked, and this new idea of bringing in a facilitator that is skilled in this type of facilitation and training, it changed from having this more retreat to more of a training and governance and assistance with our roles and understanding each other's roles came up. So it probably won't be offsite, it'll probably be in this room. It will most likely be an agendized meeting, but we won't have Zoom broadcast so that we have ability to, and anybody can still come if they wanted to. It'll still be agendized and whatnot, but that way it'd be a little bit more of a workshop type of facilitation.
One of the things that I'm hoping for is that maybe we can have lunch afterwards or something.
I'm sure we can.
Something, a little less formal.
Well,
Director Flora, did you have something? Or were you finished, Director Fick? Or?
Not yet, but I'll
Please
ask for it
proceed.
later.
Oh, okay, all right, Director Flora.
yeah, I think that over time, when I look through the agenda, I'm seeing all sorts of communications that have been improved over time. Specifically, there's this general manager's report. There's schedules of future meetings. There's all these what I'm concerned about is that there's an implication, they use the term aligned in there. And I'm not seeing anything indicating that we're not aligned. Here we are now, for example. And is this the one that's going to cost us $15,000?
13,
Let's travel, so it'll be.
Oh, yeah. right.
Yeah, the number 2 one. I think that we could better spend that money doing other things. And we send emails to the general manager. There's your alignment thing. She picks up the phone if you call her. That's an alignment thing. We have these meetings twice a month. That's a thing. We're going to have other kinds of meetings too. I don't see any reason that we need to do any more aligning. The general manager is going to be doing so much aligning. There won't be anything to align because she's too busy aligning. She can't do any work. And that's always, I need to bring oil for this chair one. That's always a concern of mine, is that we're overburdening staff with a lot of these feel-good kinds of things, and it's a dog that won't hunt, is what I'm getting at. And so I, generally speaking, there's going to be a couple of good points to it. For example, we may learn from that we need to bother the general manager less. Not that we're going to be aligned so we can get our hands around her throat more readily, is what I'm getting at. I'm very sensitive about that kind of a thing. These people need to be left alone to do their jobs, and we can go out and sell it to the public, is the way I think it should be. So anyway, that's my opinion about it. So it's one of those feel-good things that I'm not seeing $15,000 or $13,000 worth of value in it. So.
Director Jarlsberg?
Yeah, my response to that is the focus is not on the general manager, it's on the relationships really between the board members. And maybe even it would prep us for when new people come in too. There's a number of things that we haven't done as a board, I think. Some of them that President Doolittle and I talked about originally too was we never really had a fully successful onboarding. And we could talk about, what's needed to prep people that are coming on board too. I don't really see it the highlight is not how we're relating to the general manager or staff. And even though people will be invited, it really will be a discussion with a professional facilitator rather than one of us trying to do it. Or bring a staff on to do it, that we'll be talking to each other, not necessarily to the general manager.
In the
Director Vaughn?
it's in the last part of first paragraph in this thing. It does say to promote alignment and partnership between the board and the general manager. And that's the parts. And for us to get to know each other, we do that at board meetings too, where we have, just like right now, we're having this exchange. When we go to the Landers community meeting, we're sitting in my pickup truck, we're talking while we're driving and back again. So there's lots of ways that the directors interact with each other without spending several $1,000s to it. I'd rather have the general manager have that money to where she can enlarge our fuel tank supply, so that we have lots of gasoline and diesel on hand when we have the big earthquake. Spend the money on something like that instead of these nebulous kinds of feel-good things.
Well, I don't know how feel good it's meant to be, but I really think there are things like, what's your middle name?
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. We don't need to know the names of all of our children and how old they are. And
No, but I
they go
think that
to
we could work on the relationships within the board too. And it's not wasted. Also, I believe the 13,000 plus is coming out of the board budget, not general money. So I don't know that's
President Doolittle here. One of the questions I had was, where would the money come from? Where is that coming from?
We discussed that it can come out of the GM discretionary.
That's what I thought. General manager discretionary funds.
But money's money. There's only one money, just like there's only one water. Yeah, we could be using that money someplace somewhat more productive. This earthquake thing is going to be terrible, and I want to do as much as possible to be able to justify our position when it's all over with and we're under attack for preparedness and stuff like that. So that's where I'd like to see that kind of money spent, or just keep it in our pocket.
Director Fick?
Yeah, another question is, can we have a retreat without a facilitator? Or is it looks like a
There's-
top-notch facilitator.
There was another potential one that was less expensive, but I really think we need someone that's not on the board and not on the staff to conduct it.
And how less expensive was the other one?
There are two options. There are two options.
Here, but they're the same company. Oh, geez.
9,500.
And then two,
Director Flowen.
thank you,
Director Thomas Andrew Flowen.
John.
John.
You're gonna run me in the warrant system now. But also, I think that inevitably we'll be skirting or maybe violating the Brown Act with this thing too, with some of the stuff that.
Well, we can ask Jeff.
I see him shaking. I see council shaking his head.
Well, the paperwork says that we've consulted our attorney about this thing, so it shouldn't be an issue. But once we get together and start talking about stuff, at that last one we had, when I started talking with another director, I think it was Mickey Luckman, I'm not sure, started talking, trying to draw staff, not the field staff, into a conversation. I asked this, I mentioned this at a meeting, that I inadvertently, by talking about the difference in prices between a used tractor and a used tractor, a new one and a used one, I was violating the Brown Act. Eventually, you just don't, all I'm trying to do is draw people into a conversation, and there I am potentially getting it.
Well, yeah, I guess part of my seeking legal input was that my initial thought would be offsite. It would be in a free meeting room in a restaurant, involve lunch, and not have it agendized, not have it a public meeting, have a true retreat. That's why this version is not really a retreat, but it is an attempt to maybe streamline, improve, assess how we're doing now, and then see what we can do about it in the future. Yeah.
Oh, just wait one moment, because I have some things to say. Any other board comments right now? Okay, just let me, a couple things to say, and then I'll bring it around to our chair of the CAC. This district is run very well. I'm very proud of how this district is run. I had a conversation with two people recently saying, undoubtedly, I'm sure that we have the best general manager we've ever had in the history of the organization. And long may she ride, long may she live and stay here. And so, and I think that we have a great board. We have high engagement all the way around. It's always going to be messy, though. We're always going to have a conflict between operations and governance. And I don't think it's ever going to be tidy and neat and calm. There's going to be some churn, especially when you have people that are passionate and want to, be change agents and improve things. And then you have other people who are overloaded. So we're going to have that messiness. My concern, a couple of things about this, I would have liked to have seen some deliverable come out of this. Like, we need some board norms, and we don't have that. And I would, for this amount of money, which is a lot, this is more money than a director gets paid in a year. So it's a lot of money when you consider adding the meals and travel. So I would have liked to have seen a deliverable with that. I think the executive coaching sessions with the general manager, I wish that she would have had that, years ago. I'm certainly in support of that, because it's lonely at the top. And, it'd be nice if she had that. But I just want to say, I think this is more money than I'm willing to spend. And, because I think I agree with, Director Flowen, and I think there are other places for us to put this money. And I think we could get what we want for less money. And although I appreciate the hard work of the ad hoc committee, and that's just what I want to share. All right. Citizens Advisory Council, Dave Brewer.
Good evening. Well, a couple of my questions were already answered about the cost of 13 grand plus. Also, where would it come out of? It come out of her discretionary budget, and the expected outcome is probably a good thing to talk about, and we can talk about that. But I think if they were going to have something like this, I agree that it's a little costly. And I do think that if we had some kind of proposed agenda that we could look at, like what you're going to talk about, it would be easier to visualize what you're actually going to do. Because right now it's just like, oh, we got a great speaker, there's two of them we can have, one's really expensive, the other one's not. But what is the meat that they're going to give you? What are you going to walk away with? If you can have something like that, then I could think of it a little better and maybe okay something like that. But I do think the expenses. And I do think that getting together would be great. I think the farmers market is a perfect place for that if you're not all there at the same time. And there's conversations that go on because we're not busy all the time. I think that's a perfect place to get together. And I think the different personalities, the different deals that people have, it's like they're both like iron, but we need to get them together and sharpen each other so we're sharp at what we do, so we're clean and our lines are nice and fine when we go to cut into something like a budget or something we need to do as work. I think we need to know more about what's being doing. But I think in the meantime, there's always a farmer's market.
Yes, Consultant Kathleen Radnich, speaking as a member of the public.
No, I'm not. Speaking as your consultant. Communications are the number one issue when it's problems. That's usually where the problem starts, it's breakdowns. The public right now is slightly hostile because of their water bills. This is the high water use season. I would urge either a delay on this or talk more about what you want and delay it. But right now, people come up to us and they're really not happy about how high their water bill is. And I don't think this would be well received, even though it has merit to improve communications. And that's, like I said, my background is emergency management, and you have your disaster, and the second disaster is all based off of bad communications, and things just start going down domino. So I'm all for better communications. Timing is everything. And right now, like I said, our ratepayers, they're a little bit on edge. Some of them new pesky because their high use water bill is hitting them really hard right now. There's just something to keep in mind. That's all.
Director Rosberg.
Yeah, I wanted to respond to David also. The packet here, which I don't think you have access to, talks about the detail that would happen there. And it's not a speaker coming for a lot of money. It's a facilitator, and the meat is going to be the board, going to come out of each of us. But they will hold it together, facilitate it, so it really something meaty does come out of it, not just a party or something. That's not. I think the other thing that we've had to learn on the job quite a bit, especially the officers, and that's something that we need to talk about too. And I don't think that the general manager would have to spend could spend a portion of time there, but it should be a significant amount of time where just the board is hashing it out, you know, as individuals, as committed people to this district and to being on this board. And I also think communication is key in just about everything. And I also think that the job has to be the boss. I think there are some things that we need to work out personally about, you know, what this job is for the board and what's appropriate, maybe what isn't appropriate, or, you know, just figure out a few more things that we just haven't had a chance to work on. And I don't think that we want to do 2 people here and 2 people there. I think the whole board has to be together. And it has to be in a situation that is not Brown Act situation. We are not talking about, during this so-called retreat, we're not talking about district business.
If it's district business, it would be Brown Act.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. It's not an agenda that we're going to bring back to the board meeting. It's something that we would just work on ourselves. And the result would be we would analyze, you know, how well it went. We would obviously get something in printing, you know, like an onboarding situation, maybe rework our job descriptions. You know, there's just a number of things that we've never really worked on because we are so committed on making this helping this district be the best it can. And I think we've got some limitations that really need to be worked on outside of our board meetings.
President Doolittle here. I do appreciate what you're saying, Director Jarlsberg, and to add to that, I do think that we need to define expectations for board members. I don't know if it would happen there, but one, we've never done that. Those board norms, such as being prepared for meetings, we've never even discussed that. What does that mean? And I think that would be part of also the role definition. So that's kind of content that I think that we would want to talk about whatever happens with this ad hoc committee.
And like I said, we haven't finished yet. The committee will continue to discuss. It is a good point, I think, what Kathleen's making as to the timing of it. Obviously we've talked to the financial department about, when our discussions are coming up for rate. Considering rates, I'm not going to say increase or whatever. We don't want to do it when everybody's up in their arms about something that we're about to do, so that's why we were thinking in October or so, but that's all up for discussion too. And then also, although we think that the scope of work that would be provided by the 13,000 isn't in cement right now, we could look more closely at the 9,000. And see if that would meet our. This also would be like a 3-hour event. It's not like we're going to spend a whole day doing, looking at our belly buttons.
All right. Any more comments from directors or from the public comment? All right. So, do we want to move forward with a motion on this recommendation, or is the committee? Is that what you would like for us to do, committee?
Well, I think I'd like to decide if we're going to do it or not, and then we can decide how much money we want to spend on it, or whether we want to pay for a professional who is not part of our district. And then also maybe think about, we will continue as an ad hoc until we figure out when we're going to do it. If we decide that we'd like to do it.
Yeah, General Manager Johnson.
On page 79 of the packet at the very top, the first package shows a bullet point of deliverables, which I think was one of the questions that come up.
Yes.
This is for the package that's a little less extensive. In 3, complete stakeholder interview summary and observations, facilitated governance and leadership workshop, and then a board President, General Manager Communication and Partnership Framework documenting communication expectations, operating practices, and shared commitments moving forward. So that would be the deliverables from package 1. And then package 2 has those, but it also includes 3 additional, which are the executive coaching sessions, follow-up, which is they would go over what the recommendations were and ensure that they're being put in place, and then a 60-day virtual check-in session. So just want to clarify
That's
that.
the additional expense, really.
Correct.
Yeah.
I have a comment.
Yes, Vice President Short.
So the reason I want option 2 is because of these executive coaching sessions and follow-ups. I went back and I watched our last retreat, and a lot of the things that we talked about and discussed and agreed upon weren't implemented. We did not do the things that we said we should do. And I feel like if we have somebody that is unbiased, it's going to eliminate our opinions on this, and it's going to enable us to actually focus on what we need to focus on. The follow-ups are going to make sure that we're actually applying what we agree on in the lessons that we take from this. That's why I'm supporting this.
Also, I didn't think that we would pay out of this budget, that we would pay for our lunch. I thought in order to just be clean, each of us pay for our own lunch.
Right.
Like if we got something from Subway or something. Yeah.
Thank you, Director Dalsberg. Director Fick?
Okay, I haven't seen the last retreat. Is there a date for that happening? Is it a workshop that's on?
It's on YouTube, yeah.
It was a workshop in this room.
What's the date? Just, you can send it to me.
I don't know off the top of
Me either. A
Or,
couple of years ago, I
We can
think.
get it to you.
yeah, before my time. I came here April
No, you were here.
26th. I was here
Yeah, you were here.
and it was a workshop.
It's a workshop. Exactly.
We sat
didn't
down,
follow up
you were
on
here.
it.
You were just right after you got here.
Right after I got here.
Mhm.
I thought that was emergency hazard or whatever.
No, because we talked about a signaling word, you know, when things get off track. And that was where that occurred, was that at that meeting.
Oh, okay.
Blueberry, I think
I
was
don't
the
believe
word.
it either, David, so
Is that right? I can't believe I can
not the
remember.
detail.
Okay, well, I still need the date.
All right, Director Flowen.
I think it wasn't too long ago that we celebrated our 60th anniversary or birthday here of this organization. And yeah, there have probably been ups and downs here and there. We're just coming out of the clouds now in this recent time. But the president of the board just said herself that this place is running great. We have an excellent staff. The board is fully engaged. We have money in the bank. Thank you very much, Ann and Adam. Appreciate that very much. And so, you know, what sort of a problem are we trying to solve here when we've demonstrated over 60 years that we know what we're doing? And then we have our public here too to give us advice if they think that we could change something. And so
Now I
where's
have-
the fire we need to pour water on?
So you have something to contribute to the conversation?
Yes, I do.
Director Fick?
Okay, it wasn't all smooth. I remember 2 recalls in an election and the first board that was recalled was doing big mistakes. They were running maintenance with capital funds and that's why they got it's a long story on that one, but anyway,
Yeah, they were recalled.
no, not this board. No.
But yeah, whenever humans are involved in things, trust me, I know this, whenever humans are involved, there are going to be ups and downs and different opinions and stuff like that. But here we are sitting in this air conditioned room talking about how to spend 13,500 or whatever it is when we got $20 million in the bank. Everything is great. So, you know, why are we bothering is another point. Thank you.
This retreat,
Director Charles.
yeah, the retreat isn't really about how well the district is being run. I think it's about communication skills, building communication skills, and you know, understanding what the board is about as a board. I don't think it's disparaging anything to do with the staff. We might have a portion of that day, as it says here, where general manager would be involved, and maybe the other staff, but that's not the point of this.
Right. So, thank you, Director Jarlsberg. So, there was a review that there are two options here. Do we want to proceed after this discussion with an action right now? So, that's what I'm trying to understand. If the committee wants that.
I'll make a motion to go with one of these amounts, and we could have another motion if that doesn't pass.
Okay.
Another motion
All
for
right.
the other amount.
Okay, so here
And
we go.
then we can see if it's a wash, if nobody wants anything.
Just tell me what you want to do, option 2 then, right, first?
Yes.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve this recommendation with option 2 selected?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Roll call vote?
President Doolittle,
No.
Director Flynn,
No.
Director Fick,
No.
Director Johnson.
Yes.
VP Short.
Yes.
Okay.
Right, motion
Sorry, yeah,
failed.
one.
Right, so we're gonna do another motion for the other option. Do I hear a motion to approve option 1 of this packet?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call vote?
President Doolittle,
No.
Director Flynn,
No.
Director Fick,
No.
Director Jarlsberg,
Yes.
VP Short.
Yes.
The motion fails. While we're still on this item, we haven't moved on to the next item. Is there anything that the committee wants to say about next steps?
So there is one other option, is you took action. You can provide, the board can provide alternate direction to the ad hoc, to stand the ad hoc, there's all kinds of things that you can do. So it's really up to your discretion.
Can I make a suggestion
Yeah, please.
that we think about it?
Yeah. You mean, think about,
This was the first time,
yeah, so
table.
the ad hoc's gonna continue.
just
Yeah.
a little while.
Oh,
Not
no.
the rest of the life, for
we want
sure.
you. Okay, yeah, all right then.
Motion.
Oh, what?
She should
To
make.
continue the ad hoc.
Oh, I don't think we have to do that. That's not,
I don't think if you have motion to continue the ad hoc, but the ad hoc will continue for, I think you should give it a period
Yeah.
of time.
I did give it until the end of the year, the ad hoc. Yeah,
Oh, that's right.
established till the end of
That's
the
right.
year.
And then staff will wait direction.
Okay.
From the ad hoc meeting again, correct. All right, okay. All right, moving on our agenda to item 8B. I'll now provide the report from the Water and Growth Standing Committee in my capacity as committee chair. Now, you have several things in front of you related to the Water and Growth Committee. We just had our inaugural meeting, and so there's a lot of information to be shared. So one document you see, it's dated the 8th of July. This will also be in the documents online, and it's the Water and Growth Committee Charter. And so the purpose of this is right there in the center. So we're going to want to take a vote on that. And then there is I made a committee chair report that I distributed to all of you, and I will give a soft copy to the district so that they can post that. And then there's also the minutes. The minutes from the committee meeting as well. We can all talk about it, the three of us that were there, the four of us, and there was a visitor in the room that was there as well. The first meeting confirmed that the charter we adopted originally is fundamentally sound. We only made a few minor refinements, but more importantly, it helped clarify what this committee is really intended to do. And one thing that kept coming up was looking at the cumulative impacts of things. We look at individual projects, but we're talking about looking at the bigger picture. One of the first items that we talked about, again, at our next meeting, was discussion and creation of a high demand industrial water project policy, such as for data centers. And Vice President Short made a point that I think is worth repeating. We need to have a policy. We need to be proactive about it. Really captures the direction of what we're doing, because we don't want to react after projects arrive at our doorstep, but to understand what is coming and prepare accordingly. That's one of the reasons why we're doing this. We discussed visibility into more of what is in the pipeline. And we also discussed, again, Vice President Short brought this up, that the committee is not anti-development. Our responsibility is to make sure growth is understood, planned for, and that the cumulative impacts on district resources and ratepayers are identified before decisions are made, not afterward. We don't want to be caught flat-footed. We're looking to have a little bit more breathing room to be strategic in responding through governance here on the board. And that discussion actually went on to the county septic to sewer project. And we invited county staff to attend our August meeting. And since that meeting, we've heard that they declined. But the committee remains interested in establishing a regular communication channel with county staff and the supervisor's office, so the district isn't learning about major initiatives after key decisions have already been made. The committee also spent a fair amount of time discussing the need for an ongoing liaison with the county. We believe that regular participation by Supervisor Rouse field rep Glenn Harris could significantly improve coordination, follow-up, and the flow of information between the county and the district. Too often, we're left tracking down answers after decisions are already underway. If there was a standing communication channel that would help us receive updates, such as the septic to sewer, or actually go to the county to try to find that and better prepare, that it would help our ratepayers. One point that we discussed that I had left out of this was the general manager raised was equity, and that's the idea of growth requires additional infrastructure. We need to think carefully about who pays for it. I had brought that up. We brought and discussed it, but I don't think we talked about it in the way that she mentioned it, which is the goal is to avoid a situation where smaller residential customers are subsidizing the costs created by much larger water users that come about with growth. And finally, one concept that generated an interesting discussion was what I described as water spending. Thinking about our water resources the same way we think about any other public resources. If our community water supports major projects, it's reasonable to ask how those projects benefit the community that provides that resource. That's a policy discussion the committee intends to continue exploring as part of its long-range work. Obviously, we don't want to send all that money out of the community and, spend our water on that. So that is that. And you have the reports and you can see what the key discussion topics were. And the upcoming agenda items are on the bottom of page 2 of the committee report from the chair. Develop a high demand water use policy, county special districts update on the septic to sewer project, invite Supervisor Don Rouse, field representative Glenn Harris to participate in committee meetings, not regularly, often, invite land use services staff to discuss county planning activities. And we did have 2 members of the Citizens Advisory Council there, and it was nice to have members of the public at the first meeting. Now, Vice President Short, do you have anything to add?
No, I think you covered it well.
It took me reviewing the recording of it. And General Manager Johnson, do you have?
The only thing I want to add is, we're just getting into the swing of this new committee arrangement. The next time we do a report out of this type, it's going to be often at the first board meeting of the month, giving the chair more time because we only had the meeting 1 week ago. And that's just not quite enough time to prepare a report out. So just keep that in mind. We're finessing this as time goes. I did also reach out to the county, asking them to be at the next meeting, and they've declined, but they don't have an update at this time. So I'll keep the pulse on that to try to get them in a subsequent meeting.
Director Drawsberg.
In reading kind of your wrap up of this, I did listen in, although we did discuss that I lost every other word.
I know.
But the audio.
Committee agenda.
Yeah, but I wanted to say that when we first talked about this possibly coming into reality, that I thought it, because it's so brand new and now I see the broadness of what you're trying to accomplish with this committee. I really saw it as something that should only be at the most every other month and maybe quarterly until you really figure out what the use of this committee is. And it seemed like in what I read from your reports or from what you put out in advance of the committee meeting, it really has mostly the relationship between the county and our district regarding the septic to sewer and wastewater, which is way in the future. I think I'm just not in agreement with this happening every month. It seems like a burden to the staff and really premature to what you're trying to do with it. And I'm open to discussion.
All right, well, unless Vice President Short wants to respond to you, I'll go ahead.
Sure.
So I didn't want to take up a lot of time going through the committee charter information, but that just happened. I just kind of touched on some things. I didn't want to take up a bunch of time here, so that's why I didn't go in depth. It's way beyond the septic to sewer. If it were like that, I don't know that I wouldn't disagree with you. But we are looking at all different kinds of development, such as the possibility for this industrial data centers, et cetera. That's we have to move on getting a policy in place for that, and then we need to make sure that that the interagency coordination is important, and the timely notification of regional planning. And this is not just this coordination is also with the county, the federal BLM, that they are, that there's possibility for them purchasing land. They have some inholdings in our area, but most of it is outside. But that's another issue that we have to consider. So it's board visibility and reporting criteria for development projects. So that's one of the things we wanted. We wanted the board to be able to see what we have. And I've since that time shared something with the general manager, like a table that just sharing something I did some research using a tool whose name will not be mentioned. And another one is projects with potential district-wide implications or significant board interest. So many times there are developments going on and there's not room to talk about it at the board level. And so that would be a discussion there. So it may be Lovemore, it may be Santorini, something like that. The wastewater treatment plant impacts and policy. So we've discussed the fact that with these developments and the impact, whether or not sewer happens, that the district is responsible for these wastewater treatment plants, and we don't really have any policies on that. So that would also be part of something that would be looked at the committee level, and we would bring recommendations back to the board. High demand and atypical water service proposal impacts and policies. We didn't get into any detail about that, but there are lots of crazy requests now for the district as far as having to figure out how to do a lazy river or things like that. So there's those sorts of things related to development and growth. Again, we want that advanced awareness and proactive monitoring of external projects and planning activities. And we want those policies for those other high water demand development projects beyond data centers such as industrial, commercial, resort, solar. So I hope that helps. Now, what are the action here? And we can talk some more, but just letting you know, the action will be to approve this charter, which is the charter I brought originally. And the admin code is silent on actually having to have this committee charter approved, but I think that we definitely want to make sure that we're all on the same page on that. So Director Dick, you had something?
Yeah, I was going to say I'm at the opposite end from Jane on this. I think that the committee gives a flexibility to our timeline for the next couple of years because the board, it's our schedule for the board meetings is it's almost in stone, whereas the committee can react to things that happen in our region, and some things happen almost outside the region of this water board. But I'm a lot more aware, being on the MBCA, I'm a lot more aware of the projects that are out there, and there's a lot of them trying to float into Joshua Tree. And then also, we just have to be more flexible. And the board meetings they're set in what we're doing, and the agenda is probably 3 or 4 months ahead on the board meetings, whereas the committee can adapt to what's going on currently, or almost currently.
But it's still a Brown Act body, just to clarify, and at the same time every month unless there's a special meeting.
Yeah, Director Jolsberg.
Yeah, in kind of response to what you're saying, I understand that. I'm pretty aware of the projects that are trying to bust into our community without really knowing what they're doing. But I think this committee is a little premature. I think I think we need to have a little more input from the staff as to what they're capable of doing. Looking at this list, it looks like a huge, and I just think that if we eased into it, saw what really worked, what really, was happening at the moment. It's obviously there, you can deal with stuff more quickly with a committee, but I don't see having it every month. I think it would be a burden in lots of ways to the staff. And I don't know how we'd keep up with it if we had that much stuff going on for the board and had to get a report from the committee every month. And then what? I mean, it just seems stuffed with stuff that should be coming through the staff as needed as possible, if they had time to deal with it and stuff. I mean, and also some of it can come through the staff reports during the board meeting.
So, Director Jolsberg, the action before us is to look at the charter. I appreciate what you're saying, and I remember when I first brought this to you, you were excited about it. You said you've been looking for something like this for a long time. I hope you still feel that way.
Oh, yeah, I do, but I feel like we're not really prepared to keep going from month one.
Well, I believe that as the chair of the committee that we are, and we've already made some progress. Vice President Short, I'd really appreciate it if you'd have anything.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm a fan of it. I think these projects are going to keep coming.
Yeah.
This is just the tip of the iceberg, and having something that is in place and capable of addressing it in a timely manner is going to be
Do
vital.
we know that it's going to be capable?
I hope so. I think so.
Okay.
I mean, time will tell.
Well, we're constantly getting surprises.
Yeah, well, I know.
I don't know. I think that I agree with you. The premise seems obvious because we do have these things coming up, but I just don't see it getting started full blown right now.
Director Fick?
Yeah, I do have a question to our general manager. Who did you ask at the county to possibly be at this next meeting?
It was the same folks that came and did the presentation on Eagle.
Special districts?
Yeah, no.
I know we keep calling them special districts, but that's not really technically correct. It's fine.
Public Works?
It's Public Works, but yes, the same gentleman that came in and
he said he wanted to come to Joshua Tree a lot, didn't he? I remember the April 1st meeting.
but I don't know that he wants to come to our boardroom a lot. So
And I didn't think he was that helpful.
he said that there's no update at this time, so no reason to come to a meeting. And I will continue reaching out periodically and just keep the pressure on and, try to get him to come. So and there's no update right now. That I guess there's nothing to report. Is there purview?
All right. Oh, Director Flowen?
How many people on the committee? Is this?
Two.
It's just two?
Mhm.
Could it be more?
No.
No.
Because it's not an ad hoc.
No, it's a standing committee and I set it up like that. And the admin code is, very vague about all this. The president has the powers to set up committees. And I think that's so that things can keep moving along. So it's not really even, I appreciate the input, but I don't think it's really debatable about how often we're going to meet. I suggest that we just move forward with it and let us meet. And then if the board sees that we are not doing something that is of value, then we'll do that. I don't recommend that we back up and slow down with the momentum that we have right now.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
right. So,
Yeah, to have, what do you call it, what, sunshine clause or something like that, to where we sit down and decide if we're going to continue to, thank you. I just make stuff up.
Periodic reviews of how effective it is.
Yeah, and also
Not before that.
something that comes to mind too, is in terms of the legitimacy of it, is that the local agency formation mission, I believe it is, not committee, it's commission. Is that right?
LAFCO.
Yeah, LAFCO. That's a state agency. They got an office in San Bernardino. Correct me if I'm wrong on all this stuff. And they actually have the authority to decide what a special district does. And we have to adhere to that. And they do say, I don't remember what the language is, but they do say in there that looking into or investigating whatever sewer is one of the things that we have an authority to do. We're not sticking our nose in where it doesn't belong. It does belong. So I just thought I'd mention that stuff. This is for real.
Right, seeing no other questions or comments from the board, I would like to a motion to approve the charter language as presented, which is in this document. It was presented before. We made a couple of small changes to it. And
President Doolittle, would you do me a favor and read it?
Director Jones, okay, sure.
It's just a paragraph. right?
You're just challenging me. Now I have to find it.
Oh, I think it's here. Is it here?
It's page 82. Yeah. Okay. So the charter is, and this is with some minor edits. The purpose of the Water and Growth Standing Committee is to provide a forum for the review, discussion, and creation of recommendations regarding potential impacts and changing service demands created by contemplated growth and development on the district's water, wastewater, sewer, and infrastructure resources, operations, and infrastructure. Such review may include not only additional demands on the existing infrastructure, but also impacts on existing and future ratepayers in the context of changing environmental, regulatory, and water supply conditions. The committee is intended to support informed board deliberation by improving the district's understanding of potential infrastructure and service demands created by future county, state, and federal development, activity, and planning efforts while receiving input from ratepayers and business owners. This would include an evaluation of cumulative impacts on water supply, infrastructure, operations, and ratepayers, and a consideration of policies that promote long-term water reliability and operational resiliency in response to future planned growth. And then below that, on page 82, you see the bylaws. It was part of the agenda packet. It's right here, page 82. So underneath the charter. So what I'm looking for is I read it. Is there anything? Do we need to have some discussion about it?
You added statement that's the only difference I saw.
No, we added a business. We added business input from Vice President Vice President Short
Okay.
had us add that. So receiving input from ratepayers and business owners. So we added that as well.
Oh, okay.
Is there anything else on that?
Oh, here it goes. Not for me, thank you.
All right. Okay. Well then, do I hear a motion to approve the charter language as presented?
A motion.
Is
I'll
it-
second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We don't do a roll call on that?
What?
Do we, any opposed?
No,
No, it's
yeah.
not a roll call.
Yes. No. I mean, I don't know how you do a no vote. Yes, I know.
Okay. Director Jarlsberg, so you're opposed to the charter?
Correct.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Then I guess we're moving on. Yeah, motion carries. Continuing with our meeting, item 9 on the action calendar, directors' reports and comments. These are on matters within the district's jurisdiction for informational purposes only on subjects not covered by the agenda. Please note that the opinions expressed by individual directors do not necessarily reflect those of the board as a whole or district staff, and no immediate action shall be taken. Vice President Short.
Yeah, I attended the Aqua Regional Conference on AI on June 26th, I believe. After getting the information they presented, I will report that my position has not changed one bit on this. I do believe that there is no ethical consumption of generative AI, and I still fully support a ban on it on district resources. And other than that, the portal has opened for people to apply for to run as a candidate for the county, and I am happy to announce that I filed my paperwork yesterday and I am running for re-election. That's all for me.
Righty. Director Jarlsberg.
Yeah, just a couple of things. I attended Mojave Water Agency on the 9th of July, by Zoom, not in person. And, it was a pretty quick meeting. Actually just half an hour and then they went to closed session. They had a annual reauthorization measure of 350 wells that they oversee. No idea. For groundwater levels, which was kind of interesting. And then they had, they were going to consider an amendment to professional services with a, I believe it was engineering. Zangaro, I forget what, of almost $1 million. That was going to be included in the 2027 master plan for next year, but they pulled it, pulled the consideration, I guess, for the next meeting. They, in other business, they talked about the possibility of reviewing water deliveries in a future agenda. And there's another. Oh, I guess I have a question whether in previous meetings, they had said that they were going to do on-site visits to all of the districts under their purview, and I wondered if they had actually come here as they said they were going to visit, but it's important to them.
Not recently.
Oh, okay. And then the other thing is on Monday, Director Sloan and I attended the Landers Homestead Valley Association meeting, community meeting, which is always interesting because it really is concerned with the larger Morongo Basin. And in particular, this meeting, our supervisor, Dawn Rao, attended, which she doesn't every time. So she heard some things that were good from the public. There's SB 707, which is concerns water, I guess. Anyway, they suggested that we get to know what that is, listen to it, and then there was going to be a Zoom meeting for the public to go. Oh, I know. One thing that she said, which I wasn't too happy about personally, was that they are pulling all video viewing of supervisor meetings now. They are going to be available by telephone.
No, live stream of the video.
You would not be able to see the people that are talking. You could hear them because they were going to talk over a phone connection, but they were not going to have the Joshua Tree, or there was two places where you could go and see, attend the meeting in person by video, and you could see you could see the supervisors and you could comment on what the agenda was, but they are eliminating those places where now you can do it from your home. And she said, if you have electrical outages, then you just don't have any way of communicating. So, and that's been happening a lot lately. I'm sure people are aware. Anyway, I actually told her I was not happy to hear that because I think you lose a lot if you can't see the people that are talking to you as far as their expressions, or, it's just easier to relate in person. But she actually talked about a phone connection, and maybe you can see on your little smartphone or something. I don't know.
Well, it's going to be streamed. You can stream it on your computer.
Well,
it's going to be like
that wasn't not what I heard her say.
Yeah, no, that's what she said. I have a video of it.
All right.
We know.
How do you?
Anyway, we saw you
leaving.
Didn't know you were there, but anyway,
she knew.
I think that's all I wanted to comment on. These are well worth going. They, basically, because they had, the sheriff, two representatives from the sheriff, Morongo Basin Sheriff Station, someone from county fire, Marina West was there representing the, Mojave Water Agency. And the new general manager, Jennifer Cusack, was also there. So we had a good representation, and I really feel this is the only, really good way of understanding what's going on in our larger community. Because we no longer have a MAC, and we still are calling to get a MAC back, but it's going in one ear and out the other. So anyway, that's part of the reason I think these meetings are important, because we get a real basin-wide point of view on a lot of stuff. Okay.
Director Fick?
Just for clarification of Jane's observance of the video stations, the two video stations, long ago, at Hesperia had the first one, and they had such inaction and inactivity there that on May 1st, 2012, I commented to the then chair at the supervisors that Joshua Tree would be far more active, and they were. So I started that back in 2012. And that was because the back and forth between Neil Derry, who was Republican, and it's his district, and they just built the building there and all that. So it became a political showmanship. And so oh, by the way, Josie Gonzalez is now our assessor, by the way, just so you guys know. Okay, so it was
Can we just stay on the report and not the history of this?
Yes. There's a new state law saying that the agencies have to have this. And so that's why it's done. And you can see the people, because if you go to the computer, it's broadcast. The board, the supervisors are broadcast, so you can call in. And then also from my experience in Zoom calls and such, when people have video and audio, it's a lot more complex to start it up. And so it's for expediency situation. So I'm sorry to see the JT station leave, but okay, this is a different situation. Speaking of supervisor, the county supervisors, there was a setback. Right now, there's a meeting going on at the Bell Center, and that is regarding the mining, the 20,000 acre mining effort that's going on in 29 Palms, which is, there was a meeting last Thursday regarding our county our county planning commission, and they disregarded 30 commenters. They didn't even discuss the 30 commenters. So that's a big problem. I think there's an undercurrent of an agenda that we do not know about because it didn't happen in the meeting. If you had the reaction to what was going on in the meeting, and county staff was saying that the project was entirely in the Riverside County when it was probably 80% in San Bernardino County. So even our county staff are misinformed, purposely or not, I don't know. So anyway, that's that. Then also there's the Cadiz issue, which was a JPA agreed back in 2023, which I got reprimanded for by a county agent. But that was, surprise, surprise, BLM going ahead and doing that on behalf of the Trump administration. So I'll keep it at that.
Director Glowen?
Nothing else that happened at that meeting or was briefly talked about. It went by pretty quick for me, but I think it was Don Rao announced that there's a new communications center that's built in San Bernardino, sort of an emergency operations center too. And I'm going to try and look into that a little bit and to see what extent that would impact us here. This new thing, she said that the old one was just a storefront of some kind, but now they got a building there. And so I'm going to see how that might plug into the overall system that we're a part of also. And on another matter, the governor some time ago, you've got the date on that piece of newsprint there, I think. It indicated that Governor Newsom signed a Senate Bill number 394, which is intended to combat theft of water by enabling local agencies to crack down on those who steal from fire hydrants. And so there are some rather modest penalties for doing it, but the amount of water that can be lost could be in the millions of gallons, depending on what the agencies are that are reporting these kinds of things. But there are fines and some jail time too, I think, potentially for this kind of a thing, which is something that we're gonna have to consider in terms of inspections and electronic monitoring and stuff, because when the earthquake happens, and, we've got, 1,425 fire hydrants to try to keep an eye on. Just thought to.
I could share that
General Manager Johnson, yeah.
That is on our radar, and we'll be bringing forth a policy for review in the future so that we can also utilize that, because we do suffer from hydrant theft from time to time.
Is that all for you? All right, Director. Okay, here's my report, President Doolittle. I just wanted, there was no meeting from the Aqua Affordability Committee. So I had submitted some ideas to them via email, and so we've had some email exchanges, but that's that. And coming up, I'm going to ask for Cadiz to be put on an upcoming agenda item. And I just want to say, I attended that meeting that Director Jarlsberg and Director Flowen attended, the Homestead Landers Community Association. And I absolutely saw the value of attending that meeting. So now I see why they go, because you really do find comprehensively a lot about what's going on. And it's a dang shame they don't have one here in Joshua Tree, but they do have Jane there asking questions that somewhat relate to Joshua Tree. One of the reasons why I want us to talk about Cadiz is there was one point the district tried to pass a resolution and it failed. And so I think we need to figure out what the board thinks about this, because at that meeting, Marina West, who's president of the board of the Mojave Water Agency and also works for the Bighorn Desert View Water Agency, said that residents should consider buying Cadiz water if Cadiz is offering to sell it here for recharge if it's cheaper than what we get from the Mojave Water Agency. And, we have to keep in mind what we want to be able to, keep things affordable for our ratepayers. And so that just brought up that I think we need to have that as a topic for a future agenda item. This director reports right now. So anyway, I think that's all for me. So, you want to circle back for a director report?
Well, I just wanted to comment on what you said, what she said about Cadiz water. Isn't there taking our water, so we'd be buying our water back?
Well,
it's groundwater.
It's not Joshua.
Well, it's precisely those kind of comments why I think we need to have a conversation.
Exactly.
Because, the community is very interested in it. And I think we need to have some standing amongst ourselves to understand what we think as a board. All right, so moving on to, did you have something to say that's a director report for you or?
Yeah, it'd be
Okay.
me and then President Flowen and General Manager had a private meeting with Susan Kennedy, the executive director and president of Cadiz.
Right.
And she was offering the water at cost, which for her was about $260 acre foot.
Okay, yeah.
She always wants to talk how she gives the water, not how she takes it.
So just a point of order on that. I just want to understand, is that kind of comment on a director report, is that okay? Or is that getting off topic and risking the Brown Act? Maybe Jeff can tell me.
Well, obviously, brief comments are probably okay, but you should limit the discussion on Cadiz to a future agendized item once the topic is, once you realize that it's of interest to the board to discuss.
So if you saw that expression on my face, that's fine.
Better to have discussion continued
Okay,
to agendized item.
thank you. Okay, next is agenda item 9, which is the general manager report. This is for informational purposes on subjects not covered by the agenda. No actions to be taken. General Manager Sarah Johnson.
Thank you. Hopefully you all have a copy of the all exciting manager reports. First up of order, I attended the general manager's an annual conference hosted by CSPA. I tend to think it's one of the best conferences for general managers, and CSPA just does such a fabulous job. spend a lot of time in sessions. We had a great keynote speaker, John O'Leary, who as a child was burned 100% of his body and was not going to live. And he did. And here he is in his, I guess in his 40s or 50s, and he's a speaker and talks about being resilient. And it was a pretty powerful conversation. I would definitely recommend looking him up online. Monthly, we have all staff meetings. You may notice that we try to be very cautious of it and don't want to make it so that ratepayers can't reach us, but we do close the office for about an hour from 11 to 12. Typically when they're held, we have all staff here, and it's a pretty great meeting. It's a new format that we've had going for a couple of months, I think 6 months or so. And we do, updates to all staff on what's going on so that we can have great communication and make sure nothing gets dropped. But then we have a facilitator for part 2 of the meeting that's a staff member, and they're chosen from the previous meeting out of a drawing. And we did this because it gives everybody the opportunity to participate, because we had these all staff meetings in the past. I know when I started here, nobody wanted to talk. And this now provides an opportunity and a forum for people to talk. And the rules are very minor, but it needs to be job related, of course, and workplace appropriate. But they can come back to the next meeting and provide an update about their department. They can give a video about something that's interesting. And this has been just such a great opportunity to learn about the talented staff that we have. We've had 2 videos submitted, one from our production team that has been a whole well 14 overview, which was great for new staff. And then we had another one that was about a day in the life of a maintenance worker. And then the last meeting, we have our new Michael Simpson, which I know you're all familiar with. He's been to our meetings.
Knew it was him.
He was working on a presentation of being a maintenance worker, and I guess he shared that with his wife, and his wife said, well, that's boring, and do something else. So he came in and he sang to us Mac the Knife, but in a water-related capacity, where he changed it to pipe and lots of leaks. Yeah. He was doing such a great job. And it just, the engagement from staff from this meeting has been really, really good. And I keep asking, is it too much, too little? And however, the feedback has just been overwhelmingly positive. And then we always leave the meeting with a little, you have to say one word to leave. Like it's your ticket to lunch. So it can be something inspirational, or it can be a shout out to, colleagues. So it's turned out to be a really good meeting and a great way for staff to communicate. I'm really sad that Andy just left, because the next part of my report is about Chrome 6 pilot update.
Yeah.
And hopefully he'll watch this video. This district has not been on a standstill in the Chrome 6 front. It has been a topic since I've been here, and now I've been here for over a decade. So we are working toward treatment. We've begun our pilot studies. They began on June 25th. We began with well 14 and 16. We're also testing for PFAS along the way, so that we can report back to the board on that. And what I was going to say to Mr. Andy is that, just to clarify, my notes show that Hinkley was at 3,000 parts per billion, and at the epicenter 80,000 parts per billion, and we're at 23. So it is a significant difference. That said, we're still working toward the state's goal, and so I just want to make that clear. Water recharge. On July 1st, we began taking water recharge. I know it's one of our most expensive budget items, so I'd like to let you guys know that we're doing that. Approximately 1,300 feet, and we expect that it will take through December, which is very typical. If you have the pipeline that we share capacity with Bighorn and High Desert, so we all have to share that, the time to get the water here, because they're also taking water, but we work really great interagency wise, and making sure that we all get our water. E21 reservoir is the reservoir that that we're doing a rehab on, and we're still working on next steps. Ray was really integral in making this project progress. We've had a little bit of a standstill on it. There's been a part that has been on delay. And we are also finding that the current contract that we have with Ardura is to work on engineering support, but we don't have construction management support. So there may be a contract forthcoming that will help assist us with that because with contractors and with a project of this scale and with the costs involved, we don't want anything to fall apart. And we need to stay on top of the process and on the project because this little delay that we've had is, I think, could have been handled a little bit better by the contractor. And we need to make sure that we're pressing them all along the way. All right. Mr. David.
Yes, I am excited to inform you that staff worked with Jacobs and we completed the risk and resilience assessment and have complied with the completion verification with the EPA prior to the due date of June 30th. We actually submitted it on the 29th. We've also had a kickoff meeting with Jacobs to continue our work with them and renew our emergency response plan in order to have a comprehensive plan that will be a usable document, meet compliance requirements by the end of December of this year as well.
My turn. I have some fun news. So I, the Director of Finance, applied for and the district was awarded an honorable mention in the 2026 Tyler Excellence Awards in the operational efficiency category. Tyler Technologies is the company that is behind the district's financial and billing software. In code ERP Pro 10, they have changed the name a couple of times. The operational efficiency category recognizes organizations that have increased operational efficiencies through technology projects using Tyler solutions, specifically those reducing barriers for performing autonomous essential tasks and delivering better public service. And here's a brief description of the achievement as we were written up in a few different flyers that were attached to your manager's report. Aiming to enhance budget accountability and a complex responsibility structure, Joshua Basin Water District used ERP to provide customizable financial configurations to align accounts with responsible staff, improve oversight, and drive efficiency. Since leveraging this functionality, the district has reduced manual reporting to improve budget management accuracy, preserved management structure to general ledger structure to maintain audit integrity and compliance, and improved reporting precision to increase data integrity and clarity. So I was on site at the 2026 Tyler Connect conference to receive the award and provide an interview. And I just wanted to say that it's an honor for the district to be recognized for this innovative use of the software to bolster accountability and transparency in the budget process for our disadvantaged community. And Lisa has a few pictures that she's going to put up on the screen for us. Like I said, there's two flyers attached. One is all about us. The other one, we're on the back page. So you can see up on the big screen there, we're right there at the bottom right where the red arrow is. Me with the award, which I have here. Can you see that all right? And got some pins there. Tyler Excellence Award winner. And go ahead and go to the next slide. And that's me receiving the award and the screen up there showing us as an honorable mention winner. So I just wanted to share that with the board. And, just I think finance department, especially for being willing to accept and understand what could be a complex setup, but it really resulted in a much more clear product. So we're very happy about this award and just wanted to share that.
Cool.
Yeah.
How many clients do they have? Do you happen to know?
They have thousands. I don't know how many applied for this award because you did have to apply for it. But I'm sure probably hundreds. Yeah.
That's pretty significant for our town.
Yeah.
There's that capacity and it's thanks to you guys. So
Yeah. Thanks.
Well, it's not a surprise that it would be in the category of operational efficiency Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah.
And there's a nice write-up too.
Yeah, yeah.
Questions, curious. Are you, is it time for questions? Or are you done?
Yeah,
Just a quick question.
yeah, we don't
It's
usually.
not an agenda item, so it's just the report out.
Director Bowen.
I was signing checks before the meeting and there was one for Paseo Robles tank for $113,531.
You can be assured that all of those progress payments have been vetted, that the work that's been paid has been done.
What is it for, the tank?
The E21 tank, the rehabilitation project that we're working on. E21.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, that was one of the things that Ardora is helping go through the invoice, sure that every single thing has been done. Because
While all that part's being done, there are backup tanks up there now. Okay,
yes,
thank you.
All right, moving on to item 10, which is agenda items requested by the board. You were able to request agenda items under Article 7 of our admin code. No action will be taken today on requested items. Directors?
you have your Cadiz
Oh,
list.
Okay. All right, so hearing no more besides the Cadiz, I believe we are at the conclusion of this board meeting. And I want to thank you, board members, visitors who stuck with us. And with no business before the board, is there a motion to adjourn?
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The meeting is adjourned at 7:19.
Have a good night.
Bye. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Beth.